Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Hey guys, we did Gangs of Kyoto last time. We are doing the Boshin War. I just finished the Canada and Poland episodes on the Great War channel, their World War One Countries of World War One series. Loving it. Large series, but they're not too short, and I'm very interested in them, so I'm excited to continue that. But let's do episode number 3. I'd recommend watching the previous 2. That's up to you. My name is Connor, if you're new. Rhode Island, greatest state in the Union. I like to learn about history through YouTube recommendations. I'm trying to get as many followers from as different subscribers from many different countries from around the world, and have a place where we can discuss history with the opinions of these different countries. I think that's the best way to learn about world history. And I'd love to do it. Love for you to join on my journey. I'm going nowhere. I love doing this. Let's go. End of the Samurai, the Boshin War, extra history number 3. I said original link to the video, top of the description, right? Link to the video, top of the description, right below that. Link to the Discord, right below that. Link to my second channel where I do more non-history related things. Let's go. Hope you're all doing well. If not, emotions are fickle, my friend. You will be good soon. Which means if you're good, you'll be bad soon. The way she goes. Let's go. The Boshin War. Let's do it. I'm going to give it a preemptive like. This has been a great series. Pay attention. If you're not ready to pay attention, there's the door. You're in the wrong class. Home ec is down the hall. Make me... something. Can someone put in like a food in the comments, and I'll say that food to make in home ec next episode. Let's go.
Kyoto, December 10th, 1867. Sakamoto Ryoma sits in an anonymous inn, discussing how things will soon change. A month before, the Shogun Yoshinobu had accepted an 8-point proposal that handed political power to the emperor. Ryoma had written that proposal, yet the transition is not complete, and his friends say there's still danger. The year before, Ryoma had escaped assassination in a house much like this one, battling his way out and firing point blank on the attackers with a Smith & Wesson revolver. Suddenly, a heavy thump is heard from downstairs. His bodyguards, 2 sumo wrestlers, must be sparring again. He yells for them to knock it off. But moments later, the sliding door opens, revealing men with swords, the Shogun's men. As Ryoma lunges for his katana, someone knocks over the room's lantern. And in the sudden darkness, the blades of assassins fall on Sakamoto Ryoma. On November 9th,
All these channels have such great intros.
1867, Shogun Tokugawa...
It's not the best, though, which is... I'll react to that, sure. Right? All right, sorry, I'll shut up.
On November 9th, 1867, Shogun Tokugawa Yoshinobu, after years of intrigue and violence, finally bowed to political reality. The restorationist Triple Alliance of Choshu, Satsuma, and Tosa provinces had a modern army to match his, and civil war was on the horizon. He could fight, or he could step down and let the Tokugawa clan retain some role in government. So he accepted the 8-point plan written by the young radical Sakamoto Ryoma, one that amounted to the total reshaping of Japan's political system. The first point called for Yoshinobu to resign as shogun, giving full political power to the imperial court. There would also now be a 2-part legislative body with an upper and lower house to decide government policy based on popular opinion. It created new advisors and abolished old offices, and called for a reshaping of foreign affairs, a new legal code, an enlarged navy, an official imperial guard, and fixing the price of precious metals to the world market. Yoshinobu didn't lose all of his power, though. Exactly who would perform what function and what powers the shogun would maintain was...
I hate that I'm saying this, but so many people loving anime nowadays. Is there a good one? I'll check it out if there is. What was I gonna say though? Oh yeah, is Dragon Ball Z good, or is that just too kind of a young thing? Sorry.
Of divisive debate. What function and what powers the shogun would maintain was a subject of divisive debate. Because the shogun's official duties were to be Japan's military leader, and Yoshinobu still had a considerable military force personally loyal to him. That included a core force of 900 modern infantry troops trained by a French military mission, and a modernized fleet with British naval advisors. He also had a power base of northern daimyo that he could rally to his cause. Indeed, many in the restorationist camp thought Yoshinobu should be brought into the governing coalition. A peaceful transfer of power would help legitimize their new government in the eyes of foreign powers. Plus, just like many restorationists, Yoshinobu was reform-minded and believed in modernization. Moderates thought they could work with him, but the radicals among the restorationists, particularly Saigo Takamori, refused. They wanted the shogunate dissolved, with the Tokugawa clan stripped of their lands and barred from government. It was a stalemate, and then the restorationists got tired of waiting. On January 3rd, 1868, Satsuma and Shoshu troops marched on the Imperial Palace in Kyoto and got the Emperor's guards, in reality his shogunate jailers, to stand down. Now freed to act as he wished, the 15-year-old emperor declared the restoration of imperial rule and beginning of a new era, that of Meiji.
I'm trying to think, has there ever been in history perhaps the Native Americans adapting, firearms and whatnot when Europeans went over to the Americas? Obviously, most of them were killed by disease. No one could have foreseen that, but I guess they went from, hunter-gathering, simple weapons, spears, bows and arrows, to having guns. But in terms of a full-blown societal change, it is change, but change just seems such too weak of a word. Restoration seems too weak of a word. Just such a flip-flop in how your culture used to live to lives now than what happened here. I'm wondering if there are any comparisons.
Meaning enlightened rule. 2 weeks later, in the shogunate capital of Edo, Yoshinobu officially rejected the restorationist terms, which now included the surrender of all his lands. Restorationist partisans burned Yoshinobu's personal palace in Kyoto down for refusing to submit, and then he responded by raising the Edo residence of the Satsuma leader Saigo Takamori. Then, Yoshinobu sailed out of Osaka Castle with his modernized force, vassal troops, and Shinsengumi. And he swore to liberate Emperor Meiji from rebel control. Because despite everything that had happened, to appear legitimate, Yoshinobu still had to claim that he was acting in the emperor's best interest. The Boshin War had begun. January 27th, 1868, a road south of Kyoto.
So would it be fair, or is this too oversimplified, to say that I'm getting a vibe that the emperor is almost like, what was that during the English Civil Wars, of people like trying to capture the king? I forget which king it was, but no, more like, it seems like the emperor here is like a pope, where the pope doesn't have much power, but he's a figurehead, that he's a symbol that if you have him, if it seems like you have him on your side, then you have a righteous cause. So it seems like they're trying to steal the pope. I know it's the emperor, just to show legitimacy. And I wanted to, I just got to let my Discord know. They get a little ornery. Love for you guys to join the Discord. It is getting a bit more exclusive because we have a lot of members, but we're trying to root out the ones that aren't so not involved, I guess. So beware. Reacting. You guys can't see this, I know, but I'm typing in the Discord my status. Reacting to End of Samurai, the Boshin War. Okay, keep them quiet and satisfied. Let's go. Sorry about all the pausing.
January 27th, 1868, a road south of Kyoto. The shogunate advanced guard reaches a bridge, seeing a Satsuma banner and restorationist troops dug in. But their commander doesn't expect a battle. Shogunate forces number 15,000, and here there are only 5,000 restorationist defenders. He puts his feudal vassal troops with pikes in the front, and the modernized infantry behind them haven't even loaded their rifles. Then he sends a messenger to the Satsuma, saying they carry a letter to the emperor and asking for passage. The Satsuma then deny them passage and open fire. And it's here that the firepower of the Restorationist force becomes apparent. The shogunate force has 2 modernized infantry battalions. True, but the Satsuma have invested in artillery. A shell from a breech-loading Armstrong gun explodes near the commander, throwing him from his horse. Then more shells fall. There's the crack-crack of rifles throwing conical bullets the size of a thumb, and then starting slow but getting faster, the lethal drumbeat of a Gatling gun. Further south, on a different road, the second shogunate column is approaching another bridge. Here too, the outnumbered Restorationists are dug in, and at the sound of shooting
I love their symbols.
in the distance, their guns open up as
Simple,
well.
eloquent.
Shinsengumi and vassal troops charge into the smoke-wreathed bridge, into withering fire. The huge shogunate army can't take the bridges, but they also don't flee. Then, on the second day, a new battle standard appears on the Restorationist lines. An Imperial brocade banner. A standard that can only be carried when the military has the express permission of the Emperor and his personal sanction. Along with it comes a directive from the Emperor that Yoshinobu and any who fight with him are traitors. The Emperor had, with all of the powers of the state, backed the Restorationists. And now, this is no longer a rebel force, it's the Imperial Japanese Army. This news does what the advanced guns could not. It breaks the Shogun's larger force. Men fall back, unwilling to fire on the Imperial banner. Units defect, and previously Shogun-aligned daimyo.
I wonder if there's an element of shame to this, like is shown in that movie, The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, if you ever seen it. I saw it a while ago. I don't even know if I saw the wrong thing, but there was always this obvious image of, yeah, we're superior, we've been warring for a long time, you know. War isn't some invention that happens when a Western power reaches the lands of another power. That, you know, warring's been happening for a long time, and so yeah, it's still war, but they give a sense of sadness in that movie that you can see in the revision in the non-samurai people with all the guns and European support, that as they're killing and everything, that there's this sense of, yeah, we need to modernize and we're fighting and we're killing them and we're better, but a sense of also sadness that they know that they are witnessing and contributing to it, although in a necessary way, the end of this culture that is theirs. And so I wonder how much maybe it was played up by that movie, or how much of it is true, and that, you know, they have such better fighting forces. They're with the Emperor, and they're killing these, you know, conservative samurai culture people, who were for so long a symbol of Japan. And so I'm sure there's a lot of sadness.
Lock their castle gates to the retreating army. Granted, shogunate forces had won a minor naval victory the same day, but it was cold comfort. Yoshinobu, shaken by the dramatic political turn, boarded his ship and fled to Edo. But the now imperial forces chased him. Saigo Takamori also caught the head of the Shinsengumi in an ambush outside the shogunate capital, annihilating his force and executing him, incorrectly, for the murder of Sakamoto Ryoma. Then, the now imperial troops surrounded Edo and took it, street by street, over the next 2 months. Yoshinobu found his options running out. In fact, his one remaining point of leverage, that foreign governments still recognized the shogunate as Japan's legitimate government, also vanished, as imperial diplomats had convinced the Western nations to remain neutral and back whoever won. Then, sometime in June, Yoshinobu unconditionally surrendered to Saigo Takamori's forces and voluntarily went into house arrest at a local temple. But his admiral slipped away with the fleet, taking the most die-hard shogunate holdouts and a few French military advisors to the northern island of Hokkaido. There, they declared an American-style republic and geared up for the final confrontation, which is when the imperial forces wheeled out their most powerful weapon: pageantry. They arranged a massive imperial caravan to Edo at huge expense, moving the emperor out of Kyoto for the first time in his life
Tokyo?
and installing him in the shogun's former castle. There, the emperor declared that the city would be renamed to fit its new function in the post-shogunate world. It would be the eastern capital, Tokyo. It was an enormous propaganda coup, the first time ordinary people got to see the emperor and feel his presence. Though there were still some castles to besiege and diehards to clear out, The more public the emperor became, the more defections occurred, the more...
So the current emperor of Japan, what's his name? It's not Hirohito, right? That was the one previous to him. But he is a direct descendant to this emperor, right?
Resistance melted, except in Hokkaido. Miyako Bay, Hokkaido, May 6th, 1869. The Shinsengumi force and their French advisor crouch on the deck of the paddle steamer, ready for their desperate operation. They're flying a U.S. flag, masquerading as a foreign ship. And they're approaching the Imperial fleet, the one sent to crush them. At its head, the brand new ironclad Kotetsu, with armor far too thick for them to penetrate. From the outside, at least. They raise the flag of the Republic, paddle wheels churning them directly for the Kotetsu. Their guns open up at the last moment as they brace. The bow of their ship crunches into the ironclad, and a boarding party of the Shinsengumi goes over the other side. They plan to destroy or capture the Kotetsu from the inside in order to have a fighting chance in the battles.
Guys, I have a question about the switching of the flags. Like, you'll see this. You ever see Master and Commander, and you've seen it in a few of history videos about naval combat, where they'll pull the trick of they'll usually put up a flag, not necessarily of trying to make it seem like they're on the same side of the enemy that they're approaching, that they want to trick, but of a neutral nation that the enemy wouldn't want to pull into the war. So, for instance, raising the American flag. But why at the final second do they switch it and put up their real flag before they fire the weapons? Why not just keep it the American flag until and up to the point where you shoot? Is it because of etiquette? Is it because they don't want to anger the Americans if there are survivors? Is it just the rules of war? Like, I get what they're trying to do. At the last second, they've raised up the flag that the ship actually represents and then fire. But why not just keep the trick going and just keep the American flag up? Like, why even... This doesn't just mean here. I've seen it in other places. Napoleonic Wars, stuff like that. Cochrane was a big tactic of his. Again, I've seen it in Master and Commander too, the movie with what's his name, Russell Crowe. But why not just keep it? Why not just not switch the flag? I hope you understood what I'm talking about.
Ahead, but the drop to the enemy deck is steep. They can't all jump at once. And as they clamber down, one at a time...
I just love the look of having samurais and a Colt revolver at the same time.
The crew of the Kotetsu shakes off the surprise of the ramming attack and heads to battle stations. The Shinsengumi surge forward with their swords and pistols as the fire of the Kotetsu's deck-mounted Gatling gun chops into them. They lose their commander. The French advisor takes 2 hits, and the boarding party breaks off the attack. The last chance of survival gone. The next day, Imperial forces, led by the Kotetsu, will destroy the Republic fleet and defeat their forces on land. The shogunate's last bastion has fallen, the Meiji Restoration complete. And with the Emperor finally winning his throne, there's only one question left. When his closest samurai turn against him, can he hold on to it? Oh, I didn't see you there, Ahmed.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So did he draw pictures of each of his patrons? That's hilarious. So that's a guy's name. That's a guy's name. That's a guy's name. So girl, guy, girl. So Casey and Alicia. So that's got to be Casey, Alicia there. Ahmed, Dominic, Gunnar, Kyle, Orels. I'm guessing that's cool that he did that. All right, guys. Number 4 coming up soon. See you next time. Hope you're all doing well. Keep cool. Awesome. See you next time.